Welcome back to On Assignment, a podcast about how news gets made. Today, we're trying something a little different. It's a bonus episode where we're going to explore a feeling many of us experience, and more importantly, what we can actually do about it. Have you ever found yourself just endlessly scrolling through bad news? Story after story, war, conflict, disaster. It's become so common, it even has a name: Doomscrolling. This term describes a tendency to compulsively consume news that, honestly, just makes us feel worse. According to research from the University of California, this kind of content often triggers anxiety, sadness, or even anger. And it's hard to stop, right? You tell yourself you're just trying to stay informed, but an hour later, your heart's pounding and you're left feeling off. I'm Nari Han. I was the guest last time. This time I'm your guide. Why do we do this? Why do we seek out bad news? Why do we doom scroll? Well, experts like Susan Tappert at the University of California, San Diego, and researchers cited by Harvard Health suggest our brains might actually be wired for it. They point to something called negativity bias, an evolutionary survival mechanism that makes us more alert to threats. When we scroll through alarming headlines, our brain's fear center, the amygdala, fires up, sending out stress signals. And that behavior, it can feel weirdly satisfying. Research from UC shows that finding new information, even if it's bad, gives us a little hit of dopamine, a chemical linked to reward. It's part of what makes doom scrolling so addictive. But the consequences, they're not small. Both UC and Harvard Health researchers warn that consuming a steady stream of negative news can take a real toll on our mental health. Our bodies can respond like we're in actual danger, raising stress hormones, elevating our heart rate, leaving us feeling edgy or just depleted. Over time, this stress may contribute to anxiety or depression. Harvard experts have even connected it to physical symptoms like headaches, muscle tension, trouble sleeping, and high blood pressure. One study published in Applied Research in Quality of Life linked doom scrolling with reduced life satisfaction. Another more recent study from Computers in Human Behavior Reports found that doom scrolling increased existential anxiety, that deep, unsettled feeling we get when we think about mortality or the meaning of life. And get this, that same study suggested doom scrolling might actually make people more misanthropic, more distrustful and disillusioned with others. Some researchers even describe what they call popcorn brain, a kind of overstimulation from online information that makes it harder to slow down and connect with the real world. So yeah, it's exhausting. And it's not just hurting individuals. Harvard Health and the News Literacy Initiative both warn that being overwhelmed by bad news can leave us feeling helpless. That helplessness can grow into apathy and disconnection from our communities. According to the Steinman Institute, when people can't find clear information about their local institutions, or when they're flooded with bad news without context, it breeds resignation, a kind of why bother mindset. People check out. So here's the big question. If the news feels overwhelming and disconnecting, how can we stay informed without falling into that doom scrolling trap? One powerful idea: focus closer to home. Harvard Health and the Pew Research Center both highlight the role of local news. Pew's findings show that people who feel connected to their communities are more likely to consume local news and to use multiple sources for it. They're also far more likely to vote in local elections. That's not just a correlation, that's a signal. Reliable local news creates civic engagement. Organizations like Press Forward and the Steinman Institute agree. Communities with strong local journalism tend to be places where people participate through voting, volunteering, and talking about real solutions. But here's the challenge. Local news is struggling. The Steinman Institute reports that since 2005, nearly 2,900 local newspapers have shut down. That's about a third of them gone. The business model collapsed when ad dollars migrated to tech platforms like Google and Facebook, and the way we get news has changed too. Today it comes through everything from Facebook groups to WhatsApp chats. To adapt, newsrooms need new strategies, ways to rebuild trust and connect with audiences where they are. The Steinman Institute has outlined a few ideas. First, build trust. That means showing up. According to journalist James Causey, who spoke on the News Over Noise podcast, a lot of people, especially in marginalized communities, don't trust the media. Trust takes time. Transparency matters. So does just being present, hosting community events, talking face-to-face. According to the Engaging in the Community Guide, explaining how stories are chosen or how reporting works can help people feel part of the process. Second, listen deeply. The Steinman Institute held over 150 community listening sessions with disengaged audiences. They found that people want news that reflects their joys and strengths, not just problems. Third, expand what counts as news. The definition is changing. It's not just institutions anymore. The Steinman Institute points out that people are getting important information from social networks, local influencers, and neighbors. Journalists can work with those trusted messengers. Fourth, be inclusive and accessible. The Steinman Institute emphasizes the need for diverse voices across race, age, language, geography. This is especially true for younger people who are often left out of traditional news, but are essential to its future. And finally, be creative. The Engaging in the Community Guide recommends using platforms like WhatsApp or Instagram, or experimenting with storytelling tools like infographics, audio diaries, or community art. One promising model for all this is something called solutions journalism. As explained by the News Literacy Initiative and the Solutions Journalism Network, this approach looks at how people are responding to social issues, not just the issues themselves. It's not fluffy good news, but deep, evidence-based reporting on what's working and what's not. James Causey, again on News Over Noise, talks about how resource-intensive this work can be. It takes time, trust, and, honestly, commitment. But it also builds lasting relationships with the communities served. Solutions journalism helps in 3 big ways. It builds trust. By sticking with a topic over time, journalists show they're in it for the long haul. They're not just dropping in and vanishing. It empowers communities, it shows what's possible, and gives people an action plan. And it combats news avoidance, because instead of just doom, it offers direction, hope, a way forward. This is where the idea of civic joy comes in. The Steinman Institute describes it as a kind of shared pride and connection that arises when people see themselves reflected in local stories. It's the opposite of doomscrolling. Solutions journalism can foster this kind of joy by highlighting strengths, offering paths to action, and strengthening community bonds. There are even creative models for this, like StoryCorps or the A Little Bird Told Me project, where people shared what they appreciated about their neighborhood by writing notes on paper birds. Liberating Structures describes this as positive gossip and says it can help shift communities toward a more hopeful narrative. So what can you do? Here are a few ideas. Set boundaries. Researchers at UC and Harvard Health suggest limiting news intake, especially before bed. Create no phone zones, turn off push alerts, choose wisely, look for trustworthy sources, favor outlets doing solutions journalism. ABC News reminds us not every feed is curated with your well-being in mind. Look for solutions-focused reporting. Some news orgs now label these stories. Seek them out, engage locally, volunteer, talk with your neighbors. The Steinman Institute and Harvard both say this is one of the most powerful antidotes to helplessness. Talk about it. If you feel overwhelmed, reach out to friends, to family, or to a mental health professional. In the end, this is about more than just better journalism. As Press Forward puts it, the goal isn't to preserve journalism for its own sake. It's to strengthen communities. And the Steinman Institute agrees. The future of reliable journalism is the future of healthy, informed, and connected communities. That's it for this bonus episode of On Assignment. My thanks to all the researchers and reporters who are helping us understand this work. I'm Nari Han. Thanks for joining me today. This bonus episode, like all of the episodes of On Assignment from the Assignment Desk, are produced by Robert Sterner. Next time, On Assignment, we'll be exploring the power of the crowd, reimagining community storytelling submissions.